The notification on my tablet wasn't meant for my eyes. Working late that Tuesday night, rain drumming against the windows, I reached for what I thought was my device. Instead, I grabbed Lisa's tablet, synced to her phone through our family cloud. The message lit up before I could look away. Can't wait for your husband's Seattle trip. 3 days just us. Friday can't come fast enough. My hands stopped moving. Time froze. The sender was listed as D personal in her contacts, but I knew exactly who D was. Derek, my business partner, my best friend for 8 years. The man I'd built a $15 million company with from nothing. I rated again. Then again, desperately searching for some other explanation. Maybe a joke, maybe I was misunderstanding. But that kiss emoji sat there like a bomb, and deep in my gut, I already knew the truth. The Seattle trip. Lisa had mentioned it at dinner 6 hours earlier. Visiting her sister for the weekend, she'd said. I'd barely looked up from my phone, nodded absently, told her to have a good time. She'd lied to my face while passing mashed potatoes to our kids. My stomach lurched. I made it to the trash can just in time. When I could breathe again, I looked back at the screen with shaking hands. This wasn't the first message. I scrolled up. Hundreds. He'll never know. Derek had written 3 weeks ago. Too focused on his deals to notice us. Lisa's response. I feel guilty, but I can't stop. You make me feel alive again. Another from her. 8 months since that retreat. Best 8 months of my life. 8 months. They'd been doing this for 8 months. While I worked 70-hour weeks building our future. While Derek sat at our dinner table and played with my kids. While Lisa kissed me goodbye every morning. I sat in the dim light, rain still falling outside, and felt my entire world crack apart. Not my wife, not my best friend, not them. But the messages didn't lie. The photos I was now finding, Derek's apartment, intimate moments, coded calendar entries. They didn't lie either. 6 hours earlier, I'd been at dinner with my family, completely oblivious. Let me tell you about the life I thought I had. My name is Marcus Brennan. 46 years old, co-owner of a commercial real estate firm called Brennan and Associates. Or I was co-owner, but I'm getting ahead of myself. 18 years ago, I married my high school sweetheart. Lisa and I met at 17. She was the cheerleader everyone wanted. I was the ambitious nobody who somehow convinced her to take a chance. We married young, 23. Broken in love. Those early years were hard. Cramped apartment, rain most nights, but Lisa supported me through it all. She gave up her dream of studying architecture to work as a secretary while I built my career. I told myself I'd make it up to her once we had money. I never did. By the time that notification destroyed my world, we had everything I'd promised her. Big house, nice cars, kids in good schools. But somewhere along the way, I'd stopped actually seeing her. My daughter Becca is 16, smart, mature. Definitely daddy's girl. My son James is 14, sports obsessed, easier with his mother. He's also Derek's godson. That detail makes my stomach turn now. Derek Chen became my business partner 8 years ago, after we met at a real estate seminar. He was the outgoing closer. I was the strategic mind. Together we built Brennan and Associates into a company generating $15 million annually. Derek wasn't just my business partner. He was my closest friend. Fishing trips. Family dinners where he'd joke with my kids. The guy who showed up at 2 a.m. when my father died 5 years ago and just sat with me in silence. I trusted him completely. Looking back now, I can see the signs I missed. Lisa's comments that grew sharper. You're not even listening, Marcus, she'd say while I scrolled through work emails. My mother's warnings. Your father worked himself to death. Don't do the same to your marriage. That Tuesday dinner, hours before I found those messages, had been completely ordinary. The kids talked about school. Lisa mentioned her sister trip to Seattle, the lie I swallowed without question. When Lisa said, you seem tense, honey. Work stress. I'd answered automatically, big acquisition. Numbers aren't adding up. Truth and lie mixed together. The numbers in my marriage had stopped adding up years ago. Our 10th anniversary had been different, Napa. Just the two of us. Lisa laughing, her hand in mine. I'd promised that night I'd work less, be more present. That was 8 years ago. I thought we were fine. Stable. Boring maybe, but solid. I had no idea Lisa had been building a completely different life behind my back. I didn't sleep that night. Sat in my office until 2 a.m., methodically scrolling through every since message, every photo, every calendar entry. The blue light burned my eyes. The scotch burned my throat. But I couldn't stop. The messages were worse than I'd imagined. Not just logistics, though there were plenty, coded as gym sessions, and coffee with Sarah. These were love letters. Derek telling my wife she was beautiful, that being with her made him feel alive. Lisa responding that she'd forgotten what it felt like to be desired. There were photos, nothing explicit, thank God, but intimate enough. Lisa in Derek's apartment, wearing a dress I'd never seen. The two of them at restaurants I'd never taken her to. A selfie, her head on his shoulder, both smiling like teenagers. The timestamp? 3 months ago. The weekend she told me she was visiting her college roommate. The weekend I'd been closing the Morrison deal. I found the beginning buried in messages from 8 months back. A company retreat I'd skipped because James had the flu. The first message from Derek. Can't stop thinking about our conversation by the pool. You were right, we both deserve to be happy. I screenshotted everything. Every message. Every photo. Every lie documented in digital ink. Even as my heart broke, my business brain worked. Evidence. I'd need evidence. The sun was rising when I heard footsteps on the stairs. I closed the tablet, splashed cold water on my face. When Becca appeared in my doorway, I must have looked like hell, because her face immediately crumpled. Dade, her voice was small, scared. You look awful. Did you sleep at all? Before I could answer, she burst into tears. Dad, I need to tell you something about Mom. I should have told you sooner, but I didn't know how and I was scared. Becca. I went to her, hands on her shoulders. Sweetheart, what is it? She sobbed, barely getting words out. 2 weeks ago, Mom left her phone on the counter. It buzzed and I saw messages. From someone named D. They were really bad. I wanted to tell you, but I thought maybe I misunderstood, and I didn't want to ruin everything if I was wrong. My 16-year-old daughter had carried this alone for 2 weeks. I pulled her into a hug while she cried against my shoulder. My rage crystallized into something cold, hard, focused. Becca, listen to me, I said quietly. This is not your fault, not even a little bit. You did nothing wrong. Understand? She nodded against my chest. I already know. Found out last night. And we're going to be okay. I promise you we're going to survive this. She pulled back, eyes red and swollen. Are you going to leave her? I need to make some calls. Why don't you try to rest? I can't sleep, she whispered. Neither can I. We sat together as dawn broke, both shocked by the same betrayal. Around 7, I heard Lisa and James upstairs, getting ready for the day. Normal morning sounds from a family that would never be normal again. I waited until Becca left for school. Then I got in my car and drove to Kevin Hartley's law office. My college roommate, divorce attorney. I sat in his parking lot at 7:30 and dialed his number. Marcus. Do you know what time it is? His voice was groggy. I need help. Lisa's cheating on me. With Derek. Long pause. Then his voice came back sharp and awake. Jesus Christ. You're Derek. Your business partner. Yeah. Where are you? Outside your office. Give me 15 minutes. Don't do anything. Don't call them. Don't confront anyone. Just wait. I waited. While I sat in that parking lot, I thought about our anniversary party planned for 3 weeks from now. 120 guests. Lisa had been so excited, insisting on the grand ballroom at the Ritz, expensive catering, professional photographer. She'd even suggested making Derek an official co-host, since he'd been so helpful with planning. That's when the idea formed. Cold. Calculated. Probably cruel. But as I watched the sun rise over the city I'd worked so hard to succeed in, I felt something settle inside me. They'd destroyed my trust at my own table. I'd returned the favor at theirs. Kevin met me in his office, still in sweatpants and a Northwestern shirt. He made coffee while I laid out everything, messages, photos, timeline. He listened without interrupting, his lawyer face firmly in place. You have a prenup, right? He asked when I finished. I nodded. From when we got married. Lisa insisted, actually. Her parents pushed for it. Kevin pulled up our file on his computer, scrolled for a moment, then stopped. Marcus, there's an infidelity clause here. If either party commits adultery, they forfeit spousal support. She'd get nothing beyond child support and whatever assets are in her name. I'd completely forgotten about that clause. So the evidence I gathered makes this a very clean divorce, Kevin said. But here's my question. You mentioned an anniversary party in 3 weeks. What are you thinking? I told him. The whole plan that had been forming in my head since sitting in the parking lot. His eyes widened. That's nuclear, Marcus. Public exposure at your own anniversary party. In front of 120 people, including your kids. They deserve the truth. Your kids deserve not to watch their mother get humiliated in front of their entire social circle, Kevin said bluntly. Look, I get it. You're angry. You have every right to be. But there's a difference between justice and revenge. What would you do? I asked. He was quiet for a long moment. Honestly, probably the same thing. But I'd regret it later, he sighed. If you're going to do this, let's at least do it right. Airtight documentation. Legal papers ready to serve immediately after. And Marcus, once you pull this trigger, there's no going back. I know. The next day, I hired a forensic accountant. Rachel Kim highly recommended expensive. I told her I needed a complete audit of our business finances. Just a precaution. Partnership review. It took her 3 days. When she called me back to her office, her expression told me everything before she opened her mouth. Mr. Brennan, I found discrepancies in your expense reports. Significant ones. She turned her laptop toward me. These charges: hotels, restaurants, entertainment. Your partner coded them as client meetings, but I cross-referenced with your actual client list. No meetings occurred on these dates. I stared at the spreadsheet. $60,000. Derek had stolen $60,000 from our company over the last 6 months. There's more, Rachel said. The pattern suggests he's preparing for something. Large cash withdrawals. Consulting fees paid to a business valuation firm. Transfer of intellectual property documentation to his personal drives. Mr. Brennan, if I didn't know better, I'd say your partner is preparing to push you out of your own company. The affair wasn't enough. Derek was planning to take my business too. Take my wife, take my company, take the life I'd built. Leave me with nothing. Can you document all of this? I asked, my voice steady despite the rage building inside me. Already done. Full report with evidence. If you want to pursue legal action, I do. That evening, I sat through another family dinner. Lisa chatted about her day. Asked about mine. Reminded me about the anniversary party planning meeting. Derek had texted earlier asking about a client presentation. I responded normally, professionally, like nothing had changed. James complained about his math teacher. Becca picked at her food, watching me with worried eyes. She knew I was pretending, and it was killing her to watch. You seem distant, honey, Lisa said, reaching across the table to touch my hand. Everything okay? I looked at her hand on mine. The hand that had touched Derek. The wedding ring I'd saved for months to buy when we were 23 and broke. I smiled. Just work stress. Big acquisition coming up. Numbers are complicated. You work too hard, she said, squeezing my hand. We should plan something fun after my sister visit. Maybe a weekend away. Just us. That sounds nice, I lied. After dinner, Lisa went upstairs to take a bath. I heard her phone buzz on the kitchen counter. Without thinking, I glanced at it. A message from D. Personal. Lit up the screen. Can't wait for Friday. Counting down the hours. 3 more days until her fake Seattle trip. 3 more days of watching her lie to my face. Becca saw me looking at the phone. Our eyes met across the kitchen. She didn't say anything, just came over and hugged me. My daughter understood what I was going through in a way I wished she didn't have to. It's going to be okay, Dad, she whispered. I held her tight, this kid who'd grown up too fast in the last few weeks, and I wondered if anything would ever really be okay again. That night, after everyone was asleep, I created the video. I pulled wedding photos from our albums. Family pictures from Christmases and birthdays. Sweet moments from 18 years of marriage. Then I added the evidence. Screenshots of messages, the timeline photos, even an audio recording I'd made of one of their phone conversations. The video started with love and ended with betrayal. A tribute that would destroy everything it claimed to celebrate. I worked until 3 in the morning, perfecting every transition, every reveal. This wasn't just exposure. This was a surgical dismantling of the lie my life had become. A week before the party, Derek asked me to grab drinks after work. We met at our usual sports bar, the place we'd celebrated every major deal for the past 8 years. He was already on his 2nd whiskey when I arrived, and I could see the guilt eating at him. Marcus, I need to tell you something. There's something I need to come clean about. I cut him off smoothly, putting my hand on his shoulder like the good friend I was pretending to be. Whatever it is, Derek will handle it after the party. You're my brother, man. Nothing changes that. You've had too much to drink. Let's just enjoy the night. He looked at me with tears in his eyes, wanting so badly to confess, to ease his guilt. I don't deserve your trust, he said. I smiled and ordered another round. You're being weird. Partnership's been great. 8 years together. Your family, Derek. We're good. We'll always be good. The lie tasted like poison, but I delivered it perfectly. He backed down, relieved, and I watched him drown his guilt in whiskey, while I nursed my club soda and planned his destruction. The next day, I visited my mother Patricia for Sunday dinner. She took one look at me and knew something was wrong. Mothers always know. I tried to hide it, but she cornered me in her kitchen and wouldn't let me leave until I told her everything. When I explained the plan, the party, the video, the public exposure, she held me while I finally broke down. Your father had that same look in his eyes once, she said quietly, before he did something he regretted for the rest of his life. Revenge has costs, Marcus. Becca and James will be there. They'll watch their mother get humiliated in front of everyone they know. I pulled away from her embrace. They deserve the truth, Mom. She shook her head sadly. Truth, yes. Public execution, that's for you, not them. You'll get your justice, but you'll lose something you can't get back. I left her house with her words echoing in my head, but my resolve didn't waver. The night of our anniversary party arrived. The grand ballroom at the Ritz was everything Lisa had wanted. Crystal chandeliers, white roses everywhere, a string quartet playing softly in the corner. 120 guests filled the room in elegant cocktail attire, champagne flowing. Everyone celebrating 18 years of what they thought was a solid marriage. Lisa looked beautiful in a navy blue dress, greeting guests with that warm smile she'd perfected. Derek was there too, playing the role of supportive best friend and business partner, charming everyone as always. I stood at the center of it all, calm and controlled, a man about to detonate a bomb at his own celebration. Becca found me before the toast, her eyes filled with worry. Dad, are you sure about this? She whispered. I nodded toward the door. Stay near the exit, you and James. When it starts, you can leave if you want. She squeezed my hand once, then went to find her brother. My mother Patricia approached me, her face sad and knowing. Last chance, son. You can still walk away from this. I looked at her, at the woman who'd warned me and watched me ignore every warning. Can't, Mom, it's done. She nodded slowly, accepting what was coming, and moved to stand near the kids. At exactly 8 o'clock, I took the microphone. The room quieted, all eyes on me, everyone expecting the traditional anniversary toast. Lisa stood beside Derek near the front, both of them smiling, both completely unprepared for what was coming. Thank you all for being here tonight. 18 years ago, I married my best friend. Lisa, you've given me everything, 2 beautiful children, a home, a life I thought was built on trust and love. Lisa's eyes were getting teary, exactly as I'd expected. The guests smiled warmly. And Derek, my brother, my partner. 8 years we've built Brennan and Associates together. You've been there for every milestone, every celebration, every important moment in my family's life. Derek raised his glass slightly, playing his part perfectly, still thinking he was the honored guest. Tonight, I want to honor the people who've been closest to me. I've prepared a video tribute. Lisa, Derek, this is for you both. I nodded to Kevin, who was standing by the AV booth. The lights dimmed. The screens descended from the ceiling, and the video began to play. It started exactly as I'd designed it. Sweet wedding photos, baby pictures, family moments set to soft music. Guests smiled, some dabbed at their eyes. Lisa was crying happy tears. Then, precisely at the 2-minute mark, the music stopped. The photos changed. A screenshot of Derek's message appeared on the massive screens. He'll never know. Too focused on his deals to notice us. Lisa's response. I feel guilty, but I can't stop. You make me feel alive again. The room went dead silent. More messages flooded the screens. Photos of them together. Hotel receipts. The timeline of their 8-month affair laid out in brutal detail. Then the audio clip played. Derek's voice clear through the ballroom speakers. When are you going to leave him? Lisa's voice answering. After the party. I don't want to ruin the celebration. The collective gasp from 120 people sounded like a wave crashing. Lisa screamed my name. Merrick, she's you, Ice! TRNITOF? Derek was trying to push through the crowd toward the AV booth, his face white as a sheet. Guests stood frozen, unable to look away from the screens. I heard James's voice from somewhere in the back. What's happening? What is this? Becca's response choked with tears. Come on, we're leaving. Now. The video continued relentlessly, showing everything, hiding nothing, destroying the lie completely. When the video finally ended, the lights came back up. The room was in chaos, guests whispering frantically, some trying to leave, others frozen in shock. Lisa stood in the center of it all, mascara running down her face, sobbing uncontrollably. Derek had stopped trying to reach the AV booth and was just standing there, pale and trembling. That's when Kevin stepped forward from the crowd, professional and calm, carrying 2 manila envelopes. He walked straight to Lisa and handed her the first one. Divorce papers, Mrs. Brennan. The prenuptial agreement's infidelity clause has been activated. You forfeit all spousal support. Then he turned to Derek and handed him the second envelope. Buyout documentation, Mr. Chen. The partnership agreement includes a fraud clause. The embezzlement evidence is attached. A criminal investigation is pending. I watched Derek's face as he realized I knew about the stolen money too. Not just the affair, everything. I took the microphone one last time. You wanted to destroy our marriage in private. I'm returning the favor in public. You both gambled that I'd never find out. That I was too busy, too trusting, too stupid to notice. You were wrong. Lisa tried to speak through her sobs. How could you do this to me? In front of everyone, in front of our children. The irony of her asking me that question almost made me laugh. How could I? How could Yo? For 8 months. In our bed. With my best friend. While I worked to build the life you're now crying about losing. I found my kids in the hotel hallway. James was furious, his face red with anger and confusion. Becca was crying, her arm around her brother's shoulders. You embarrassed her in front of Evian. James shouted at me. In front of me! She's still our mom! You didn't have to destroy her like that. I tried to explain, tried to make him understand, but Becca cut me off. We already KEW, Dad. I told you weeks ago. This wasn't for us. This was for Yowu. Her words hit harder than anything Lisa or Derek had done. She was right. This wasn't about protecting my kids or seeking justice. This was about my ego, my pain, my need for revenge. I love you, Dad, Becca said, tears streaming down her face. But I don't like you very much right now. Then she took James's hand and walked away, leaving me standing alone in that hallway. I went back to the ballroom. Most of the guests had left. My mother was helping Lisa to a car, her arm around my sobbing wife, ex-wife, supporting her despite everything. Patricia looked at me as they passed, and I saw disappointment in her eyes. Not surprise, just sadness. I'd been warned. By her, by Kevin, by my own conscience. And I'd done it anyway. I stood alone in the center of that empty ballroom, surrounded by white roses and champagne glasses, and the wreckage of 18 years. I'd wanted them to hurt the way I hurt. Mission accomplished. But Becca wouldn't look at me. James had walked away. My mother was ashamed, and all I felt was emptiness. Not triumph, not satisfaction. Just a hollow void where my family used to be. 6 months later, I'm making breakfast in my new apartment. Smaller than the house. Quieter. Lonelier. The business is mine now, renamed Brennan Properties after Derek took a plea deal for the embezzlement. No jail time, but restitution and a ruined reputation. The divorce was finalized last month. Lisa moved to Denver for a fresh start, limited visitation with the kids. They chose to stay with me, though I'm not sure I deserved that loyalty. Becca and James are here for the weekend. Therapy is helping slowly. James still barely speaks to me some days. Becca's forgiven me more than her brother has, but the trust isn't fully back. This morning, she's making pancakes while I handle the coffee. Normal. Different. Not what we were, but something we're learning to be. Dad, you okay? Becca asks, glancing at me. For the first time in months, the answer is actually yes. Not happy. Not healed. But okay. Yeah, sweetheart. We're going to be okay. The cost was our family. The gain was my dignity. I'm still not sure which weighs more. Revenge felt justified in the moment, necessary even. But standing in this smaller kitchen, watching my daughter try to rebuild what I broke, I understand what my mother tried to tell me. Justice and revenge aren't the same thing. And sometimes winning means losing everything that actually mattered. If this story resonated with you, I'd really appreciate a like and subscribe to Familix's Revenge. It helps me continue sharing these real experiences. Thanks for listening.